I would never have thought in 2024,
It's 2025 now, you idiot.
we would get another feature-length Wallace and Gromit film, yet one that would come out on Netflix of all places. Aardman Animations is probably one of my favorite animation studios, especially in stop motion. There is really nothing like them. With the signature claymation style that they're known for, the studio has made some iconic films and TV shows, like Chicken Run, Shaun the Sheep, and Morph. But nothing will ever come close to what is considered Aardman's greatest achievement, Wallace and Gromit. Spanning from 4 short films, 2 TV shows, a couple of spin-offs, and a feature-length movie, the iconic duo has become a staple not in British media, but stop-motion and animated media as well. Now, Aardman has been in a weird predicament this decade. The major modeling clay the studio uses was shut down in March 2023, where the remaining clay Aardman had was used for the remaining fishes in the new Wallace and Gromit film. Not to mention, since the very start of 2020 through now, Aardman has really been pushing on franchises by making sequels out of them. Now, if you know me, I'm not too keen on certain studios trying to make bank with cash grab sequels if the end product isn't going to live up to expectations. Looking at you, Disney. But for Aardman, I can make a pass, since stop motion takes a lot of time, and only have 10 films created. And with the simple but enjoyable storytelling, I'm all for more films on their beloved franchises, as long as they can stick the landing for their wit, humor, slapstick, and emotion. And the last 2 films from the studio so far have met that expectation. Kind of. I think Shaun the Sheep is a perfect spin-off, and seeing a sequel to his first film, Farmageddon was really a charming little film that helped expand more of his world, and had some great sci-fi material as well. Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget was sure a movie. Look, the first Chicken Run came out 23 years before there was even an idea of a sequel. And yes, while I do enjoy Dawn of the Nugget, I felt as if the whole movie was unnecessary, as the first film stands alone just fine, and the follow-up didn't really help but rehashing certain things and diminishing what could have been a solid film. But that's not the case with Wallace and Gromit. Since 1989, these two have been in tons of short films and TV specials that you could think of a million ideas to put them in, and will come out to be slightly enjoyable at worst to an outstanding masterpiece at best. And that really is the case for Vengeance Most Fowl. A standalone sequel, this film shows Wallace tinkering with a new project under his belt, the Smart Gnome, willing to be a second hand in Wallace's inventions, until he decides to help out his neighbors with the gnome to do chores in order to pay the bills with his gadgets, much to Gromit's dismay about feeling replaced. Meanwhile, fan-favorite villain Feathers McGraw tries to escape out of prison, or I guess, a zoo, and finds out about Wallace's gnome business, and tries to hack into the gnome's data to break out and escape with the blue diamond, the same one from the short The Wrong Trousers. Now, like I said with Chicken Run, there are a lot of stuff taken from previous Wallace and Gromit shorts and films. With the whole Blue Diamond and Feathers McGraw plot, this police officer that returns from Curse of the Were-Rabbit, heck, the farmer from Shaun the Sheep makes a cameo here. Yet, with all of these elements that might fall into diminishing follow-ups, the writers know how to keep things fresh, while also expanding on the world of the duo. 2 things really make this movie great: its humor and its suspense. Many Wallace and Gromit media have had tense and threat-provoking scenes in their films, and Vengeance Most Fowl is another one of those movies. The feel of the gnomes turning evil with their black beady eyes and mechanical movements feel freaky to watch, and with the blank expression on Feathers' face, you still know the sinister emotion he has. Not to mention, the movie always had that element of surprise, as you never know what's going to happen next, making the film feel more engaging to watch. There's so many unpredictable moments here, and makes for some impactful scenes that you'll remember by the end of the film. And of course, the comedy and slapstick here is amazing. This is classic Wallace and Gromit, as the film doesn't take itself too seriously, giving the viewer a ton of laughs from its charm and wit. With the exception of the gnomes turning evil, the main gnome, Norbot, is an excellent comedic character, balancing his devotion with Wallace and Gromit, and his overachieving excellence in task handling. And the feeling is more apparent after his reset from Feathers' control, as he helps out the duo with saving the other gnomes and retrieving the diamond back.
Well, go on, Chuck. Put him through his little paces. He's voice activated.
Bruh.
Speaking of new characters, we also get Chief Inspector PC, who serves as a protege and straight man, or I guess straight woman, to Chief Macintosh. Both of these characters play off each other so well, as PC has this optimistic personality and overthinking of the case of Wallace's gnomes, and Macintosh with his easygoing yet disgruntled nature of getting to the point and his pride of returning the blue diamond. But of course, we can't talk about Wallace and Gromit without talking about, well, Wallace and Gromit. These two are the heart of the film, and it's not hard to see why. Ben Whitehead, who has been Wallace's voice since Peter Salus's retirement and later death, is almost identical to Salus's voice, as he does a smashing job here in his first full-length performance. Wallace is in full inventor mode here, as his obsession with his contraptions, especially the smart gnomes, makes and breaks his qualities as a character, as his gleeful side comes in tuition with inventing, and the distant relationship he now has with Gromit, with relying too much on technology. And yeah, Gromit is still one of the best animated characters ever. With his silent mannerisms, his expressions and movements are definitely the highlights for any W&G film, and this is no different. Gromit really shows his emotion towards the sudden replacement of him and Norbot, the suspiciousness he has with the gnomes turning evil, the shock of the return of Feathers McGraw, and the ever-loving nature he shares with Wallace, especially at the end of the movie. And then, there's Feathers McGraw himself. The fan favorite from the very acclaimed short The Wrong Trousers, Feathers doesn't feel like a quick reference for nostalgia, and actually has a purpose here, as he finds another clever way in retrieving back the diamond and having his revenge on Wallace and Gromit. And just like Gromit, with being a silent antagonist, his expressions are key, which is funny since his face is always blank throughout the movie. Yet you still feel that kind of emotion he's putting on. He really is a cute, yet sinister villain all in one package. In fact, all of the characters seem recognizable, with that trademark Nick Park style, with the big mouths, and the thumbprints on the clay in certain scenes. That reminds me, the animation here is still top notch. I love the way the animators took their time providing every detail on Wallace's inventions and how they interact, as well as the long sequences of Wallace's routine getting out of bed, or Norbot's gardening cleaning in the background, or the whole climax at the end. I know I keep repeating myself, but stop motion really is the most rewarding style of animation out there. The time the studio has to make sure everything looks fluid and engaging is magnificent. And that's not just with the characters. The backgrounds here are so appealing to the eye. The opening look of Gromit's garden, the zoom out of the zoo McGraw is imprisoned in, the river of canals, every place the characters are in gives out that homey feel the franchise is known for. You can always expect excellence from Aardman, but when it's specifically Wallace and Gromit, they put out all the stops to make this engaging and worthwhile. Now of course, not every film is perfect, so there are a few mishaps here. While the scene itself is pretty funny, the mob of neighbors that admired Wallace the Smart Gnome, then turned on him after the sloppy job they made, was sudden. I know it's made for laughs, but it's very odd that the town would suddenly do a 180 and bash Wallace's inventions without hearing them out. Also, this is a small nitpick since this does happen with every short and special, but the relationship between both Wallace and Gromit has always been the same formula, of Wallace being too above his head sometimes, with Gromit having to do the heavy lifting. And yeah, that does make for a good dynamic, but in this movie it's actually kind of heartbreaking seeing Gromit being sad about a sudden replacement, not just with the gnomes, but every invention Wallace has ever made. This padding pal invention is especially heartbreaking, with Gromit just wanting some affection, and how technology kind of ruined that for him. Yet, this nitpick does actually improve when Wallace realizes his wrongdoings, and makes it up to his lovable pooch in the end. And I think that's what makes this film great. Technology has helped animation get where it is today. However, AI can't replace a visuals artist's touch. And this is very apparent for the second feature film with its messaging. This film tackles the efficiency of technology and when it's used irresponsibly. Sometimes, you just need that human touch and not the overexposure of inventions and tech. This film is meticulously crafted by hand, and the use of handmade stop motion is so overlooked nowadays. Aardman really has a knack of showing the greatness in claymation. I don't really know what else to say. This movie is stellar. I dare to say that this stacks up with the first film with its quality. Every iconic element returns while adding some new themes to the table, making the franchise fresh with every installment. The writing is impeccable, the animation is top tier, the characters are so lovable. Wallace and Gromit is just such a fun, cozy franchise that has another W on their hands. But what about you? Have you given this film a watch? Are you a big Wallace and Gromit fan? And if you're unaware with them, maybe this could be your introduction to the iconic duo. Maybe this will get you to experience more with the inventor and his lovable dog in the future. This is easily one of my favorites of 2025, even with just a couple of days in the new year. But hey, what can I say? Watching this film just made me more impressed with Nick Park and how far he's come with his most famous creation.